sightings of ghosts, an abandoned insane asylum, creepy ass dolls, werewolves, and witches, honey. Do not obey. Stay woke. Nobody's gonna stop me. This is real. Do not obey. Stay woke. Scary as hell.
Russia has some of the craziest stories. There's this lake there called Lake Baikal, and it is the deepest freshwater lake on Earth, over 5,000 feet deep. So these Soviet divers in 1982 were doing these diving routines or whatever in the lake, and they're down 164 feet. All of a sudden, out of the depths, there were these 6 humanoid creatures wearing these tight, metallic-looking suits, 9 feet tall. They tried to catch one of them, and then like all these things did something to where it caused this force field and shot all these divers up to the surface like almost instantly. They all got the bends. 7 divers, 3 of them ended up.
Oh my gosh.
And then the rest were basically silenced from ever speaking about what happened. You guys want to hear what was discovered in Russia in 2011? Khara Hora Shaft. And it was discovered by Arthur Zhemukov. Discovered it at the top of the Khara Hora mountain. He was up there and discovered just this small hole and looked down, and it was this deep, narrow, vertical shaft. He brought a team in and they explored it. And when they went in, they realized that the shaft was made of parallel slabs that were almost perfectly geometrical. But these slabs were perfectly polished, and they descended 130 feet into the mountain. And then when they dropped down, they discovered a bigger room with these giant megalith slabs that had right angles put together. And there's all these side tunnels that no human could fit through, but yet there was a constant wind pushing in. Like it was like a ventilation system. There was a lot of theories made about it. One of the theories was that it was possibly an ancient energy generator. And then a lot of people said that this was actually the base of a pre-existing pyramid that was on top of this mountain. Have you guys ever heard of the Solway Firth spaceman? 1964, a man named Jim Templeton. They were at Solway Firth, which is in Cumbria, England. They went out there. He brought his Kodak camera, just taking pictures of the family. He had his 2 daughters and his wife there. He snapped a couple pictures of his youngest daughter and went to the chemist. The chemist is like, this picture was really good, but it's ruined because of someone in the background. And he's like, can I see it? And it looks like there's a spaceman standing behind her. He was so like bothered by it. He's like, there should be no one behind her because my wife and daughter were standing behind me when I took this picture. And they were alone. They were alone in this field. He was so disturbed by it that he went to the police, and the police are like, oh, I mean, we can't do anything about this. So then he went to the newspaper, and it just took off. And so it became the Solway Firth spaceman because they could not figure it out. They're freaking out about it. Kodak actually put out a reward for anyone that could prove that it was altered in any way. No one could do it. Even to this day, no one can do it.
Guys from the old world, when they're not whited out, filled up with airships. It's almost like looking at a different world, like a parallel past of ours, kind of like that Doctor Who episode where they entered a parallel dimension of London, saw what the modern day would look like with airships. This is not your world. Not some truth resonates in that line. Perhaps there's more to these resets than just a timeline thing. Perhaps these Mandela effects, these mud floods, these obvious signs of resets, these obvious signs of people remembering things completely different, perhaps in a way they're all linked. And what we're having is a bleed through of realities, a bleed through of dimensions. Why in this timeline we have a past that misaligns so differently from our current time. Inventions and capabilities and flying machines that seem far different than what we've been taught in school. The thing is, nobody, myself included, knows all the answers. We can only identify the problems, the tampering of our past, the tampering of our time, and put the pieces together from there. We may not find all the answers, but like life, the journey is far grander than the destination sometimes. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
California has an island. Not only that.
What?
Did you know California was also going to be called the Carolines? Yeah, just like North and South Carolina. How crazy is that?
What
But this
the
is
hell?
a detailed map of California, showing it as an island. Comment, let me know what you think, because you have captains that have sailed right here around the island of California. And this is quite detailed and quite accurate.
It's pretty crazy.
Now, you can say that this might be just the Baja California Southern Peninsula, but either way, it was definitely an island at some point. Heck, even if you check over here, you'll even see there was no Lake Michigan, it's just Illinois back then. And Lake Erie was also Lake Erie with an H. Thought that was really interesting. This 1719 map is so wild, there's so many anomalies. There's so many.
Oh, that's in
drawings.
French.
Like, who's that big guy right there? Then, what are they doing in the ice areas with these round-looking egg-like? I don't know what those things are. I always see this guy
Giant
with a
apple?
hand or something. So, just pretty wild. And then, yeah. And then you have the beavers, like building a city. It's pretty wild what they're doing and how they're doing that too. So, that was interesting. And then you have this guy over here. Thought that was pretty wild. But yeah, check out this whole map.
Translated this 1450 map, and it's crazy.
Oh, let's hear it.
So let's go ahead and dive in. This is crazy. So here's the first translation. That top paragraph right there that you see, that one says, this province called Beninchilib is inhabited by a very strong people. They are a great population and live in the strongholds of caves, rivers, and mountains. These people have faces like donkeys, and this land could
What?
never be subdued by the Romans. Then that second little portion, that's separate of that top one. That said, this name is interpreted as the shore or land of dogs because these people have dog-like faces. Look
Dear
at the details here.
Lord.
It's crazy. And then we get into this one right here. This one's also pretty wild. This one says there are some historians who speak of a spring or fountain of the Garma Mantis, which at night is so hot that whoever puts their hand in it gets burned, and by day so cold that one could not endure it. They also speak of these Ethiopians telling many marvels, especially of the Panaphagi, which are people who eat everything, and then the Anthropophili, man-eaters, and then the Coelencephalia, which are the dog-headed people, and
Oh
the
my
basilics.
God.
And also various monstrous animals, serpents, dragons, basilisks, and other wonders, which I cannot describe. Sorry, that one took a long time. And
That's
then here's the
nuts.
last one, the Island of Dragons. On this island dwell a people who live among the serpents, which they do them no harm than to other animals, and those serpents, when taken out of this land, die.
Portals on a map?
Fine, what?
You heard me correct. Portals on a freaking map.
Let's go.
I find old anomalies like that. I dive into old maps. Let's get at this. You have to check this out. It's crazy. I was looking at this map book and I stumbled upon this. Check this out. So here's your first portal right here.
It literally says it.
Mountains on the mountain range here. And then from there, we just head on over here and check this out. Here is the portal for the Zagros Mountains. I've never seen anything
Whoa.
like this. Please comment, tell me what you think. They translate as a portal. I mean, that's what it says right there. It's crazy. Here, I'll show you the other one again so you can see. There it is. And this map, so this is part of a map book. It is a 1490s map book. And this particular one that we're looking at was actually owned by Christopher Columbus, which makes it even weirder and crazier.
Oh, wow.
Here's Hercules, right here. Thought that was interesting too. And you have all the old names, Mesopotamia, Babylon. We have the Arabian Desert down below, which is over here.
Here's something really fascinating.
Sure. Have you guys heard of the Pit from Hell? Hauska Castle, which was built in the 13th century. So this castle is about 47 kilometers north of Prague, but this castle is very strange. Fortification is not facing the outside, it's facing the inside of the castle.
What does that mean?
Slots for like shooting arrows and stuff
Yeah.
on the outside, they're all facing the inside. This pit goes back to way like ancient traditions. Giant like granite slab, I believe. In this slab, people always reported like hearing like noises creatures coming out of this pit, terrorizing villages. And then at one point it became like a prison. They would have these prisoners option like death penalty or lowered into the pit. And stories go that these prisoners were lowered into the pit, and when they came out, they had aged. They told these things of like there's creatures down there. They literally described it as hell.
5 men vanished after a basketball game and were found in places that made no sense. In 1978, the Yuba County 5 drove to watch their team play. They never made it home. Months later, searchers found their car on a remote mountain road, miles from where they should have been. Then they found the men, scattered across impossible locations in the wilderness. One had survived 19 weeks in an abandoned trailer, surrounded by canned food and propane. He starved to death anyway. Investigators found no explanation. No theory fit the evidence. What happened to the Yuba County 5 remains unsolved.
Yeah, have you heard of that? This man, his name is Cody, he walked out of his apartment and noticed every single door in his hallway had a Chinese menu in the doorway. 3 days later, it's still there in every doorway. And he's like, 3 days, everyone in my hall has not opened their door. And then 5 days, still there. And he's like, this is weird. So he went down to the parking garage and looked at the cars, covered in dust. Looked at the license plate. They were all like 2019, 2018, or registration. Weird. And then he's like, this is like freaking me out a little bit. Went through his whole apartment building, couldn't find a fire alarm. Finally, like found one. Pulls it. Supposedly, there's supposed to be 800 people living in this apartment building. No one came out. He went out into his local little nook where his apartment was. Every like coffee shop and place that he went to, there was always one man in there wearing a suit, talking on the phone. He said these men were all saying the same thing into the phone. And he's just like, am I living in a simulation? Heard of the alien ruins in China? There's this place, Mount Baigong. This archaeologist from China went to this place in 1996. It's right next to these 2 lakes, and one lake is saltwater and one lake is freshwater, right next to each other. There are no signs of life at all. Sharp mountains are also lifeless, as if they have experienced a massive fire. It seems that the scenery here did not originate from Earth, but from another planet in outer space. And then he saw this mountain that was like triangular shaped, and he goes to the cave entrance, which has a triangle door, and he goes in and he discovers iron pipes. They tested the metal on these pipes. 8% of the material of these pipes you cannot find on our periodic table. He says it looks like a space station. They also tested some of the pipes. They found quicklime. It is a conductor of energy. Some of these pipes were filled with it, and they would lead down to the lake. This quicklime in the pipes with the lake, it was producing energy to the pyramid. This lake in Wisconsin. This lake has everything. Dead giants, Leviathan, serpents, everything. This lake is cut off from any other body of water. It's literally in the mountains. It's a glacial runoff, deep ancient lake. The native people in that region, the Ho-Chunk people, they talk about around this lake, there was these giant red-headed giants that would terrorize the Ho-Chunk people, cannibalize them. They lived in the caves all around this lake, so they kill humans. They're extremely violent. They said that they would hurl massive stones at the Ho-Chunk people. And Ho-Chunk people basically prayed to their god to help get rid of these giants. And then one day there was this big storm that came over, and it said fire rained down from the sky, killed all the giants. And it said the Ho-Chunk people for years, the lake was red with the giants' blood. They also tell that this lake was inhabited by a giant serpent, a serpent that was like wise serpent, and it would also just consume and take people that would go by the lake, the Ho-Chunk people. I got a monster story. The man named Uncle Monday, he was apparently this legendary conjure man way back in the day when there was like slaves and stuff in the United States. He was captured in Africa. He was enslaved in South Carolina, and he escaped to Florida and joined the Seminole tribe in Florida. But he was a active practicer of, it's called hoodoo, not voodoo, hoodoo. It's very ritualistic stuff. It's a combination of African herbal medicine, Bible verses, and European folk magic. But he apparently was able to communicate and like talk to crocodiles when he was in Africa. So he fled to Florida, joined the Seminole tribe, and they taught him their local magic of communicating with alligators. And legend has it that he was so good at harnessing these entities, these spirits, that he would literally transform into an alligator. So they call him Uncle Monday, king over the alligators. The Lake Peigneur incident in Louisiana, underneath underneath this lake was a vast amount of salt. Salt mine company started in 1910, salt mining underneath this lake. This lake was also on an oil reserve. In 1980, while Texaco was drilling in this lake, they accidentally pierced into the salt mine, drilled straight into it. There's 55 salt mine workers down the salt mine. I mean, hundreds of thousands of feet below the surface.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they just started hearing this like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then all of a sudden, it's like you see this like. The water started just gushing in. This thing filled up within minutes. The guys that were running the barge up top, they heard this clanking sound, like, what in the world? And they kept on drilling. This small whirlpool started forming in the middle of the lake. And then all of a sudden it started getting faster and faster. It ended up sucking in the entire barge. This little island that was on the lake sucked that in. No one died in this incident. They said because it was sucking in so fast that at one point it created the largest waterfall in Louisiana. A lot of us are going to die in August. August 12th, 2026. The world will lose gravity for 7 seconds.
What? Who said that?
NASA knows. They're preparing and they won't tell us why. In November 2024, a secret NASA document titled Project Anchor leaked online. The project's budget is $89 billion. And its goal is to survive a 7-second gravitational anomaly expected August 12th, 2026. They expect the duration to be 7.3 seconds long and expected casualties will be 40 to 60 million people.
What?
They go on 1 to 2 seconds. Everything not secured will rise. People, vehicles, animals. 3 to 4 seconds in. Objects will continue to rise to 15 to 20 meters up. 5 to 6 seconds in. Panic and chaos will ensue. And people hit ceilings. 7 seconds. Gravity returns. And everything falls from the sky. And 40 to 60 million people are dead.
Fake Neos disaster. This happened a long time ago. Imagine this scary feeling of you're in this tiny little village. You wake up and you walk outside and it's quiet. Everyone that used to be walking around, bustling around in the morning is not there. Goes and knocks on the neighbor's door. No one's answering. Peeks in the house. People are dead. 1,700 people just mysteriously dead. All of the livestock dead. All because of a nearby lake. And it took them a while to find out why. Because this lake periodically belches a cloud of carbon dioxide gas that suffocates everything within a 16-mile radius. And so all of these people died and the livestock, and people didn't know for months, I believe. It's just absolutely terrifying thinking about it because it belches this diffused carbon dioxide. It's a cloud that shot up at 60 miles an hour, and then it's heavier than air. So it comes down and covers this city, killing 1,700 people.
Story is about people that have taken salvia. Truly nightmare fuel. This guy, college age, smoked salvia, and all of a sudden he was like basically transported to where he was standing on the side of the road, and he was just standing there. Then all of a sudden he turned into a stone pillar, and he was a milestone, like a mile marker stone for 300 years. And he said he watched the forest change. He watched a horse and buggy, and eventually turned into cars and a highway. And then after 300 years, a construction crew came and tore him down, and he woke up. So he was stuck as a stone pillar in his mind for 300 years.
That is straight up terrifying.
Being hypnotized lead to their deaths? That's the question about 3 high school students who died within weeks of each other after allegedly being hypnotized by their principal. Allison Hall has the details.
These 3 teens from the same high school died within weeks of each other, and they had all undergone hypnosis by their school principal. Now the baffling story is the subject of a new investigation discovery documentary, The Curious Case of the Principal Who Hypnotized His School.
How dare he?
Principal George Kenny hypnotized 16-year-old Marcus Freeman to improve his football performance. But Marcus lost his life in a car crash after he apparently hypnotized himself. His girlfriend Carly O'Boyle was in the car and survived the 2011 accident.
Can you talk about the day of the crash? What happened?
I look over. Oh, this is a nightmare image in my head, mind you. And his arms are straight and his head is just back. Like that. Like he's out of it.
Then another hypnosis subject, 16-year-old Wesley McKinley, took his own life. And Wesley's death was followed by yet another suicide, that of Brittany Palumbo, who was allegedly hypnotized by the principal months before for test anxiety. After an investigation, the principal was charged with practicing therapeutic hypnosis without a license, a misdemeanor. He pleaded no contest. He was put on probation and resigned. Wesley McKinley's parents say they are speaking out to warn of the dangers of unlicensed hypnosis.
Nothing is going to bring Wesley back at this point. And if we can help one kid stay alive, we've honored him.
The new documentary includes an interview with a former student who praises the principal's hypnosis method.
I would say that I was hypnotized at least 50 times, give or take. You just feel much better about yourself.
Carly sums up her feelings for her long-deceased boyfriend this way.
He is with me all the time, and I will see him, again one day.
George.
TikTok user named Tammy, Little Miss Bella 3, captured this strange clip on her home security camera, which seemingly showed a stranger with what appears to be a light on their head right across the street who says, catching Tammy off guard. The figure then begins crawling on all fours before suddenly reverting back to being bipedal. Some commenters believe that this could be a Wendigo. Some believe that it could just be a person with a weird hobby. Whatever the hell it is, I wouldn't stick around outside long enough to find out. Tammy posted this video to tell more details on what she experienced that night.
Got home, it was about right before 9 o'clock. When I pulled up to my house, I didn't see anything. I didn't see any flashlights at the park, because the park's right across the street. I get out of my car, I pull in my driveway, I get out of the car, and that's when I heard the creepy, just hearing it, I was like, what the fuck? This person standing straight, walking, and then all of a sudden go down on all fours and start walking like that. And I think why I was so calm is because I did have 2 glasses of wine. This is not AI. I don't know anything about AI. I don't like AI. It's not my type of stuff that I post. It's usually about my dogs, my family, or me drinking wine with my friends. That's what I post.
Go to her page, Little Miss Bella 3, on TikTok if you want to hear it all. What do you think Tammy saw that night? A TikTok user named Tammy, Little Miss Bella 3, captured this strange clip on her home security camera, which seemingly showed a stranger with what appears to be a light on their head right across the street who says, catching Tammy off guard. The figure then begins crawling on all fours before suddenly reverting back to being bipedal. Some commenters believe that this could be a Wendigo. Some believe that it could just be a person with a weird hobby. Whatever the hell it is, I wouldn't stick around outside long enough to find out. Tammy posted this video to tell more details on what she experienced that night.
Got home, it was about right before 9 o'clock. When I pulled up to my house, I didn't see anything. I didn't see any flashlights at the park, because the park's right across the street. I get out of my car, I pull in my driveway, I get out of the car, and that's when I heard the creepy, just hearing it, I was like, what the fuck? This person standing straight, walking, and then all of a sudden go down on all fours and start walking like that. And I think why I was so calm is because I did have 2 glasses of wine. This is not AI. I don't know anything about AI. I don't like AI. It's not my type of stuff that I post. It's usually about my dogs, my family, or me drinking wine with my friends. That's what I post.
Go to her page, Little Miss Bella 3, on TikTok if you want to hear it all.
Always trust your gut feeling. A woman was taking care of her horses when suddenly they all started acting strange and running away. She was confused until she began hearing a deep wailing sound.
certain rules. That's great.
She decides to follow the sound, and as she approaches the source, she gets a gut feeling that something ominous was luring her into the silo.
Oh God.
No.
So in my dressing room, you have the bathroom with the cameras. So I put towels all over the camera, and I went and peed in Kobe Bryant's dressing room because I was scared.
Why exactly would Ellen DeGenerate have cameras all over the dressing room and bathroom for Selena Gomez? It almost reminds me of a couple of other people who put cameras in every room and in the bathrooms. Oh yeah, Epstein and Diddy.
I saw this dude give a story on TikTok where he went to Bluff City, Utah. And he's like, what I experienced there had me question if we're in a simulation. He said we were at this hotel and then we went to a grocery store and then a restaurant. And he said it's just people were weird acting. They were like not expecting someone to come in. For instance, he went to the hotel clerk and he said, hey, can we get some towels for our room? She's like, oh, actually, I don't know where they're at. This is my first day on the job. And then he went to the store and something wasn't working. And she's like, I'm so sorry. This is my first day on the job. And then he went to a restaurant and the card wasn't working. And she's like, I don't actually know how to work this machine. This is my first day on the job. And he's like, what is happening? Yeah. But then another guy who duetted it didn't have a story like that, but he said he stopped in Bluff City and he saw the hitchhiker girl walking on the side of the road, but his car was packed. He's like, I can't pick her up or whatever. He said 30 miles down, the same girl.
Stop it.
Are they like just making shit up? I've worked with tools my whole life, and this socket is not even on the nut.
Panel's good. You can show the tool.
Are they like just making shit up? I've worked with tools my whole life, and this socket is not even on the nut.
The Old Stone Face in Pipestone National Monument in southwestern Minnesota. A sacred indigenous landscape where native people have quarried pipestone for ceremonial pipes for over 2,000 years. In this image, a figure seems to appear, resembling the apparition of a native person gazing over the cliff.
Did you guys hear what Congress asked? The government's ability to remotely turn off your car.
Why would they want access to that?
Well, they say it would be a safety thing, so if someone is impaired, law enforcement can turn off your car.
That's not good.
No!
That's terrible.
Well, and also if they get a little greedy and they shut off everybody's car.
How does this get allowed?
The thing is supposed to apply to car manufacturing moving forward.
Mhm.
Every car will have a turn-off switch.
Which is why we have a zombie apocalypse truck.
They've been able to do it for a long time, so just at some point they needed to be like, oh, we're never going to do it, but now if we have to.
They've got a plan, dude. There's something happening. Because they could turn off our phone, locking or unlocking doors. But what if there's a gas leak and they're passed out in there and we need help? We can unlock your doors. It's like, no, I don't care. Leave me be.